Good day. Today's lesson we'll be looking at how to recreate lots of pages. We'll be looking at how to recreate this page, this one, this whole page. We'll be looking at recreating it. We'll look at recreating this page. We'll recreate this page also. We'll recreate this page. And we'll look at recreating 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pages. So this is going to be like a marathon. So it's majorly because of this that I said there would not be a class on Monday, because there is no how I'll be able to take all of this into hours with people asking questions. There will be no how. So I'll have to make a separate video for this. So just sit tight. We have a lot to learn today. Okay, so for today we are not going to make use of stack plates. I think we've gotten to a point where we can start coding on our individual code editors. So I'm recommending VS Code. I just hope you all have installed VS Code already on our laptop. VS Code is short form for Visual Studio Code, which is cool if you're developing. So that's that. And again, I hope we have also installed Git Bash. I don't know if I pointed this out, but we need to install Git Bash. So yeah, we need to install Git Bash. I already have Visual Studio Code already installed on my laptop. So yep. So all what I'm going to be doing today, I'm looking at where I should push it to. Definitely we are going to be pushing it to GitHub. So we'll look at how to push our codes to GitHub from our laptops, and then look at how to make our site or the repository we've created, how to make it live. We'll look at doing that. Yeah, we'll look at doing that. So that's going to be that on that. So I am going to let's do this. So I'm going to open up Git Bash. Here. So I already have Git Bash installed. So by default it takes me to the root directory. Also the root directory it takes me to. So what I need to do is do something. So I'll just put us through on some basic commands. So there is the ls command, which lists all the files in the directory. So just think of the ls as the list command. So when you type ls and you click on the enter button, it gives you all the files. So currently these are the files I have in my root directory. These are all the files I have. So I want to make a new folder that I'm going to use for this whole thing I'm doing. So I can type in, there's a command called mkdir, which stands for make directory. Let me see if I can zoom this in. Oh, okay, that's very good. I can zoom it in. So there is the okay. So there's a command called mkdir, which stands for make directory. So I can create a directory called, let's see, FEB. You can call this marathon since we're having a marathon today. So yeah, it's created. Now when I type ls and enter, you'd see that what I created, which is FEB marathon, you see it here. So for me to enter inside, I need to make use of the command called cd, which is like change directory. So I'm changing directory to another directory. So I just type the name of the directory I'm changing to, which is FEB, then marathon, the exact name. Then I'm already inside. You see it has appended the name of the directory here for me. So if I type ls, nothing comes up because it's empty. So what I want to do is to open Visual Studio Code. So this only works for Visual Studio Code anyways. What I'm trying to do now next is going to work only for Visual Studio Code. So I want to open this folder in my VS Code, so I don't always have, so I will not have to open VS Code and then start looking for the folder and opening it in a new window. So I just type in code space full stop and enter, then it's going to open up my VS Code. Now it opens up VS Code for me, and it opens up the FEB Marathon folder, which is cool. So here we see what I just did here was I typed in ls to list out all the files I have in my directory. That is a root directory. By default, when you open git bash, what opens up for you is your root directory. This is the icon that is used to signify that. And I am trying to create a new folder because I don't have a folder already for FEB locally. If I already had the folder, it would just be a matter of typing in cd change directory, which stands for change directory, and then the name of the folder. I gave it FEB Marathon. You can give it whatever name you want. So I just created a directory, but I do not have it. So mkdir feb-marathon, and then I'm sure it created it. Now I just had to type ls just to confirm that the directory I created is there. And if I scroll, I will see it here, FEB Marathon. And I just had to type again cd FEB Marathon. So it is changing me, it's taking me away from the root directory where I am to another directory. It's more like what you do when you're in your file manager. So you're trying to switch between folders. That is what I'm trying to do. So I'm trying to switch between folders, and I'm using a command to help me switch between folders. So to help me switch between folders, the command that will help me do that well is the cd command. When I'm done, I use the ls, which is going to list, but it's not listing anything because I don't have any file inside. So I just typed in code space full stop, and what that does is going to fire up VS Code for me. So make sure you already have VS Code installed on your laptop. If you have VS Code installed, it comes with this whole configuration, which you will not have to configure. Automatically your terminal, once you type in code space full stop, VS Code is going to come up. Okay, so now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's begin. So I have a folder I've created. This is the folder we're going to be using for today's lesson. I'm going to create a couple of folders. We have we're creating 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right? I think, is this repeating? Okay, it's not repeating. Okay, so yeah. Okay, so we have 8. So we're going to create 8 folders, 8 subfolders. We're going to make 8 subfolders. So first off, I'll create this, and I'll call this no, let's create a folder. Let's call this 1. Let's rename this. That one doesn't cut it. ONE, better this way. Okay, so we are starting with this. I know there are some things you have not touched so far. I'm going to try to touch it now. Now there's something called Font Awesome. There is something called Font Awesome. So Font Awesome is an icon library. So there are lots of icons you use when you're coding. Now HTML doesn't ship with these icons out of the box. So Font Awesome is a library that makes it very easy for you to just call the class. If you just import the CDN, if you just call a particular class, it's just going to create it for you, just like that. Very fast, it's going to do it for you. So I would explain what Font Awesome can do. First off, you make sure you have a Font Awesome account. So please make sure you have a Font Awesome account. So I'll just sign in. I hope I remember my password. It's been a while. Let's see. I hope this password is correct though. Okay, so I am currently on a free account. This is just that's that. So let's see. There are some things you just want to get here. What I want to get here is my kit. So this is what the kit does. Font Awesome Kit helps to deliver a cached version of Font Awesome icons to your project, so you can customize it to how you want it to. So I am just going to come here, manage kit. Okay, you can create a new kit if you want. So what I just need to do is hold on. Okay, then this is just how to use it. So what I am just going to do, yeah, this is what I'm just going to do. I'm just going to copy this. Yeah, they said that I should copy my kit's code in the head of each template or page in your project where I want the Font Awesome via the kit. So I'll just copy this. There's this that can help you, so you can just copy this and you can choose to download the example file if you want to. So this is just what I just need to copy. I'll just copy this and I would come inside the ONE folder. I'm going to create a file called index.html. So if I paste this, okay, this should work for me. I like my tab spaces being full. You can tweak it however you want, but I like it being full. So we have this. Okay, I save it. So I'll just need to go to the folder where I have my code on my laptop. Let's see. Okay, this is just need to go here. So this is my, just need to go to my root directory. So the root directory that I have, I put it in my root directory anyway. That's why I'm going to check for it in my root directory. So wherever it is you put it, you can just check. So my root directory is the user folder. That's my root directory. I already have it pinned here. So I'll just come to FEB Marathon, which is here. This is the one folder, and this is my index. Yep. So you'd see that the icon here, this that was added, shows up here, and you'd see that it's just a matter of calling a class, and when you call the class, it just adds it for you. So this is how Font Awesome works. Let me see if I can explain this better. So Font Awesome works the way you have your normal element, where you just call your classes. You would call a class, it's going to style whatever it is you want to style. So Font Awesome, you don't have to go to the stress of designing stuff yourself, icons yourself. If you just call a particular class, it works for you. So there are lots of Font Awesome classes. As you work, you get to know the ones you want. There is a search button here. So say I want to get a search icon for call. Sorry, I said search icon for call. I want to get an icon, a Font Awesome icon for call. I just have to come to the search, just type it in there, search, and hold on. Okay, it's going to give me lots of icons that I can choose from. We'd have to select the free ones anyways. So if I choose, say, this one for call, and I click on it, hold on. Okay, so it shows me this. So what I just need to do is just come here and copy, click on this. So it's going to copy it automatically for me. And if I paste it in here, I save, I come here and I run, you see it's been changed, which is brilliant. So these are just the things we can do with Font Awesome. So if you check some sites like let's do this, let's check Google. Let's check Google. This can be a Font Awesome icon. It can be. Let's check W3 Schools to be more. Let's check W3 Schools. So, zoom out. And we see there is a search icon here. This search icon, you can get it even down to the social media icons. If you come to Font Awesome here and you search for example Facebook, and thing is, it allows you to style it because it comes as an HTML element, so you can even choose, even down to social media icons, you can choose and you can style it the way you want to. So if I choose this one, Facebook Square, it's going to open up Facebook Square, and I just click on this to copy the HTML, and I would paste it in here. And when I save and I run this, you see it's been changed to Facebook. Now I can change the color if I want to, so it's just a matter of typing style, color is red, then give it font size. So it works like your normal font. It's called Font Awesome. So font size, you can see 50px, and when I run this, oh sorry, I didn't size this, spell this one. Font size 50px. So you see, there you go. So these are like the pretty cool things you can do with Font Awesome. Yep, so that's just it. That is basically it. And you see that this is similar to what we have here. This is very similar to what we have here. Very similar. So that is that on Font Awesome. I'm saying that because this might turn out to be Font Awesome. Might turn out to be Font Awesome. Lots of people make use of SVGs now. They make use of SVGs. So I love using SVGs because there's a limit to what icons you can have on Font Awesome. So Font Awesome has paid versions. So I think the paid versions, like the highest amount, gives you whole access to all the icons. Now most developers would want to pay lots of money to do that when you can use SVGs. Okay, so if you're trying to work on a site, for example, in this case, in this scenario, you're trying to recreate a site, so you can just pick it from here, so you don't need to create it yourself. But if you're working with a design, the designer would have already created the icons for you, so you don't need to look for where to get an SVG that's going to fit what you want, fit what the designer gave you, because everything's already in the design. So it's a matter of just of the designer downloading it for you and giving it, so you just add it where you need to add it. That's basically it. With that said, what else do I need to touch? I need to touch the display, but we'll touch the display while we work. So we're going to recreate this page and make it even better. This page has a scroll, like a vertical scroll, which I don't get why it should be there, because this is a simple page that doesn't have lots of content, so it should just show on the go. So we're going to make ours not scroll. So let's begin. So here font awesome has already created this for us. I just need to just come here, copy this. This is what I need. I just need to copy this, then delete this, then let this do its trick for me. So HTML5. I think this comes with VS Code by default. I think this comes with VS Code by default. So I'll just create this first page. So inside here, I'll just how about I do this? Instead of making all of this to be in a separate folder, since all of them are just single page sites, let me bring them out. Okay, so I'll just okay, let me just copy this and I'll just delete this. And I'll just create one. Let's call it one.html or index.html if you would prefer. Then I paste this in. Yeah. Okay, so I need to go back and copy my kit's code. So go to my kits. Click on this. I'll just copy the kit's code. So they said it has to be in the head, so I'll make sure it's in my head tag. So when I run this, that file is not there anymore, so I just need to come out and type in index.html. Yep, okay, we're good to go. So let's begin. Let's pin this. Okay, so here I would need to change the background. I just need to pick the color of the background the person used. So the person used this background color, so I'll just pick this background color. So I'll come here, over here in my code. So I'll need to create a CSS file. So to create a CSS file is a link. CSS, pick the one for CSS. Automatically it gave me style.css. Let me call my index. There's a folder. I'm going to create a folder, index of CSS. So the folder I'm creating is CSS. So I'll just come here and type in CSS. So index of CSS. So the index is just going to stand for this. So because it's index or HTML, the CSS will be index.css. So I'll just create a CSS file, index.css, and I am good to go. Yeah, so now I want to target the body. So remember we said you should, if you're coding, make sure you have your margin at 0px, make sure you have your padding at 0px. Please make sure you have that. Now the body should have a background color set, please. So we have background color of this and this one. So it's no difference, background color, background is still the same thing. So when I run this here, yeah, the color has changed. Color has changed. Now you notice that our page here doesn't have a logo up here. It doesn't have a logo up here. No, ours doesn't have a logo up here, but theirs have a logo up here. So we can choose whatever logo we want to use. So let's say I want to pick W3 Schools, for example. So how do they set their logo? That's what you see up there is called a favicon. A favicon. So you always add your favicon in the head. You don't sit on the page, it's in the head. So if you add your title in the head, it just makes sense for that to be in the head. So this is where they added it here. Icon, this is where they added it. If I remove this, it shouldn't work. shouldn't work actually. It shouldn't. So this is it. Let's just open this in a new tab, and I'll just need to come here and click on, yeah, it's just one. Okay, so I'll come here and click on copy element. When I copy the elements, I'll put it in my head before the, okay, after the title, anyone that works for you. So it's not going to work because it's telling us check in the slash in this our directory. We'll see favicon.ico, which I don't have, so I'm just going to pick the link. So that's just what I'm going to do, because we don't have it locally, so we just need to get the link to it. I'm sure we should understand this by now by working with images. So if I hard refresh, make sure you hard refresh for it to see. So hard refresh is Control Shift and R. You see the W3 Schools shows up here. So that's how you add your logo. So if you're creating a site, the designer already should have a favicon. So the favicon is not like your normal size logo. You see, it's very small. The W3 Schools logo is bigger, but the favicon is something very small that should be on your website. So you make sure you ask the person for your favicon. So now that we're done with that, the next thing we need to do is create this box here. So we create this box, so I just need to inspect. Now this is the box here. This is the box. Now the width of the box and what we are seeing here is 760 px, or I will not make use of px for it, because there is mostly when you use px it poses an issue, because if you're going on a smaller screen, this is responsive, by the way. This is responsive, by the way. Okay, the person made use of max width. Okay, max width. If this was width, for example, it will work on a normal screen. When I come on the larger screen, you see it comes to the side because the space I gave it was to be for 760 px. So because it's giving a max width, what that means is that the maximum width that this whole, it means that the maximum width that this whole section, this card area should take, should be 760 px max width. Well, I love using percentages, so whatever works for you. I love making use of percentages and using px. So okay, so let's begin. So I'm going to just have a card here. Okay, so let me just create, so let me just make a main. It's just for aesthetics, main, so you just know, okay, this is the main section. Then you have a section tag, so this is like a card section, so I can give it an ID of card section, save. Then okay, I can come here, and for testing, just to be sure that we're getting the alignment well, let's just give this a color. Okay, this is just to make sure we are getting it correctly. Let's just give it a background color of red. Mind you, this is just for testing. I use this to make sure that I have what I'm doing correctly. So if I refresh, I wouldn't see it because it doesn't have a height yet. So I'll just give it a height. So what is the height of that box? The height is not given. The height is auto, but currently, because we don't have content, so the height is adjusting to the content, hence why it's auto. So auto is like it should just fit with what I'm putting inside. So it's smart enough to know, okay, this is the height it should be. It's not fixed. So but for now, because I don't have any content, I'll just make this say 150 px, and I'll just run this. Okay, so you see it shows up here. So now this is where the display property I've been talking about comes in. So by default, most elements are block leveled. There are different types of elements. We have block leveled elements, we have inline block elements. There is one called display. Let's look for display. Or should it be an element? Let's look at CSS. Let's see. Come to CSS. Let's see. Display. Okay, so this is it. So the display property is the most important CSS property for controlling layout. The display property specifies if or how an element is displayed. Every HTML element has a default display value depending on what type of element it is. The default display value for most elements is block or inline. For example, the div element is a block leveled element, which makes it perfect to do most of the things you want to do. Okay, the div element is a block leveled element. The h1 to h6 is a block leveled element. By block, I mean it's stingy. If you add the div right now, it takes the whole space. The p tag is block leveled. Form block leveled. Section 2 is block leveled, if you've noticed. So it explained that a block leveled element always starts on a new line and takes up the full width available. It stretches out to the left and right as far as it can. But inline elements are not like that. Inline elements are not stingy. They don't take up the whole width. So an inline element does not start on a new line, and it only takes up as much width as necessary. Sometimes when you want to make something go to the new line, you make use of BR. I don't make use of BR because BR makes your element start on a new line. That's the element that comes after the BR. But automatically, if you're using a block leveled element, automatically you don't need a BR because it's going to start on a new line. So instead of me to make use of BRs, I make use of block leveled elements because I know that it's going to start on a new line. So inline elements does not start on a new line, and it only takes up as much width as necessary. For example, a span element is a perfect example of an inline element. So if you want something that is not going to start on a new line, say you want to create a small button like this, you can make use of a span for this. You can also make use of an A. This is the anchor tag. Then an IMG tag too. If you've noticed, the IMG tag doesn't take up the whole space except you tell it to. It just takes up as much width as necessary. Then we have the display none. The display none is used when you don't want it to display at all. Now this is mostly with JavaScript when you want to hide something and show something, maybe when you click on the button and that. So understand. So we have that. So if you want to override, you can use the display property, CSS property, to override. So if an element already before is block and you want to make it inline, it's just a matter of typing it display inline and it will change it to inline for you. If you want to make it block, it's just a matter of typing display block and it will change it for you. So here where you have span, which by default is inline, let's click on try it yourself. Now span by default is inline. Here we have two spans. The first one contains this, the second one contains this. If I remove this CSS here, let's run, it should all be on the same line. But the moment it becomes block, you'd see it starts on the next line. So that's the power of the display property. So the display property is a very, 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 very important, very, very important property. Very, very important property. So this is display none. It takes it off. visibility hidden also takes it off. So we have display none and we have visibility hidden. So the difference between visibility hidden and display none is that display none makes it look like that element was not there, but visibility hidden would hide the element the same way display none will hide it, but the space that the element is supposed to take will still be there. So to see affect the layout. So display none is like the go-to, but then again it depends on what it is you want to do. So that being said, there is a display property called flex. There is a display property called flex. Before it was floats, but floats, learning floats is like God. When I was learning float, when I was programming, God, float was like God. Float was like float was like how would I explain it? It was like positioning for me. It took me time to understand float. We're going to make use of flex. So this is what we're going to be using. Flex is what we're going to be using. Yeah, flex. So flex is more like this very cool CSS display property that once you make it, you can use it to do lots of things. You can use it to align it however you want to do it, and that and that. So this section, you want it to be in the center. Okay, here I can just come and say width of okay, theirs is 760 px, so you can say width of 760 px. Okay, but it's at the top, so you can choose to use your absolute position, absolute property, and start checking from the top, from the left, from the right, which is stressful. So if you don't want to go through that stress, okay, first off, let's make this come to the center. To make this come to the center, I will just give it, hold on, margin auto, so it's at the center already. Now we want it to be in the middle here. So it's for it to come to the middle, if we use display flex. Now we apply display flex on, not on the element we want it to move to the center or move to the middle, but on the parent. That way all the children are displayed flex. It's more like a stretchy that can stretch. This is like a stretchy CSS property. So this is this, yeah. So we don't apply this. First of all, let me copy this before I lose this CSS. Okay, save. So here where I have the main is the parent. So I just need to target the parent. So it's the parent I'm going to give the display flex to, not the element itself. Remember the other ones we checked on W3 Schools, you give it to the element itself, but we want to give it to the parent itself. Sorry, the parent of the element. That way all the children is going to take up that property, that style that we gave it. So if we say display flex and we say align items, sorry, yeah, see, oh, okay, something I missed out. The body, you need to make sure it's 100% width, sorry, height, for it to work. Currently this is the side of the body. The side of the body, if you look at it, is 150 px. I don't know if anyone notices. I'm hovering, and on the page you check, you see 1366 by 150, which is what you see here in the box model. So this is the height. I want it to be more than that. Now it will be stressful trying to calculate the height of the page, so CSS has a style that is going to calculate the height of the page for you. So you just need to type in height 100 VH. And you see it has changed it. So now it's 371, which automatically picks your, this is when I came 100%. Honestly, I don't know what VH stands for. I don't like reading. I'm more of a practicals person. So if I get the need to learn it, I'll learn it. But I just think that it works, and I just use it because it works. I don't know what VH stands for. Okay, so here, if I add align item center, oh sorry, I'm adding align center. I had to add it to the property, the element I gave display flex to. So align items. Okay, what is happening? What am I missing? Hold on. Let's see this. For some reason this is not aligning center. Why? Whew. Okay, so this is the reason why. The body has the height of 100 VH. The main element itself doesn't have that at all, because you see that the main still takes 150 px. So I just debugged this issue. You'd learn that along the way. If I make this height to be 100 VH, you see automatically it centers. So it can't align something center when it doesn't have enough space for it. So it didn't have enough space. That was why it wasn't working. So I just gave it enough space to play around with. So I'm just going to target the main, because I know that I'm only just going to have one main in the whole of my page. So I'm just going to have one main. So it's good practice to only have one main. I mean, you should only have one main element. So this, yeah, so this is align center. So like I said, the issue with having the width set to a fixed to a fixed width in px is that when you want to check it on a different device, you see it still takes up that much space, which should not be so. So normally I would use a percentage. So percentage is smart enough to know it's just taking up 90%. So whatever size it is, it's just going to calculate the math for you. So I love making use of percentages. But you see the issue with this is 90% on phone is good, but 90% on screen is too much. So if I say 60% here, 60% looks good, but coming here 60% looks too small. So this is where responsiveness comes in. So you need to have different CSS for if it's mobile, if it's on desktop. That way one doesn't clash with the other. So I'm just going to stick with my 60%. That's what I'm going to stick with. I think 60% looks similar to what we have here. Okay, it's too big. Let's make this 50%. Is it still too big? I think it's fair. We say 53%. Okay, 53% is fair. So I'll just come here and say 53%. So save, and I run this. Okay, so now I can choose to change the color. So I can change the color now to white, and it won't give me an issue because I gave the background a different shade, so it's not going to like show the same thing. So this is white. So yeah, you're having something that's looking good. So remember, I just made use of that red just to make sure I was getting it correctly. That was just it. So let's check again. Now the content has, you see they gave it flex. Yay, flex. So let's just get this box shadow. We need the box shadow. We can pick this, and we need the border radius. So I'll pick the box shadow, styling they give to the box shadow. So this is going to be our main card section anyway. So the card section should just have a box shadow like this and a border radius of 10 px. So border radius of 10 px. So when I run this here, now this is looking good. Now the next thing we want to do is this image. You want to get this image. So this image is to the left, this other image is to the right. So this image, so just come here, click on open a new tab to get the full image link. I'll come here, pick this, and I'll add it inside here. So I'll create an img tag, src. So let's call this card image, give it the alt. So refresh this. Okay, so you see this, but this is where the problem comes in, because we gave this box a fixed height. So let's remove that fixed height we gave it. We don't need the fixed height anymore. You can make it to be auto if you still want to keep your height there anyways. So like we said, automatically it picks it. So now this is where we come in with the styling. Okay, so here we don't want this image to be, we don't want the full width of the image. That's not what we want. We want it to just be small, this size, so we can shrink it. Now you see it's also cut, like it cuts. It's not showing the full image. Like this one section here is cut. So we can come here, click on inspect, and reduce the width. So width, we can make the width 30%, which is too small. 50%. 50% is 40% is okay. We can make this, or 45%. 45% is fair. Now we want this whole this side here to go off, because this one doesn't have that side. There's this side here that we want it to go off. Yeah, so first off, since we know we're really going to have one image, let's pick this. We'll pick it one at a time. So we're going to target the img, because we know we're really going to have one image. So it wouldn't be bad if we just target the image itself. 45%. Oh, sorry, 45%. Save, and then when we run this looks okay. Next thing is this text. So let's just pick this text, copy. Text is supposed to come immediately after the image. So let's make this to be a p tag. Add the text inside. Save, and when I run this, like I said, the p tag is a block leveled element. So because it's block leveled, it starts on a new line. Anyway, we are going to tweak that later on. You need to pick the next text, so we can make this to be an H4 or H5, depending on which one we want to use. So we have H5 here, H5. Let's see. Sorry, hold on. H5 also is a block leveled element. There is a font that was used here. The font is title. The font is specified here, Manropi. So for us to get Manropi, this is it. So we'll just come here and copy this. So copy the elements. Copy here. Please make it come after the favicon or after the CSS. You need to copy this too. Save, then he added the style, the body, sorry, the font family to the body, which is cool because that would mean that all the children will inherit that. So by default, children would inherit the styling of the parent. So the body, I'll just have this as manual P and refresh this. Yeah, we have manual P. Cool. So now the image is aligned to the left, this is aligned to the right. This is just flex. They are just, because it's flex, they can coexist together. So for me to make it work, we have 3 elements here. Like the way this is this is one element that has image, and this is one element that have lots of things inside. So we need to wrap this whole section here in a parent element. Now the parent element that will now style. I don't know if you get it, because there are lots of elements that we can't just be giving display flex. So it's better if they are nested. So this will be in a parent, this parent, this parent. It's just like looking at the design. This whole section here has to be in like a parent. So we'll just give this section here a div. I'll make this to be a div. So come here. Oh, sorry. Here. Sorry. About that. Come here. And save. So now we have 2 different elements. Nothing still happens anyways, because it's still a div we gave it to. So we'll wrap this also. We'll wrap this also in a div. This IMG, we'll wrap it in a div. That way we have control over clipping it. Thank you. So we have this. Sorry about that. So here I will just give it display flex. Now when I give it display flex, you see automatically it becomes accommodating. So it's not more block leveled elements like that is just what happens. It's just like make sure that this whole 2 element, regardless of whatever type of element you are going to conform to what I want you to do. That's what the flex just does. So display flex. Now the width we gave it is too small because we've added display flex, so we just have to adjust it. So 60%, 100%. I think 100% is fair. 100% is fair. So here you can just have this to be 100%. Trying to get where this extra spacing is coming from. Okay, so we'll give the card section display flex. Card section display flex. So yeah, display flex. Then next thing we have is, okay, so there's spacing around here. There's spacing at the top, the left, the right, the bottom. So we can just say that is padding. Okay, so we can say that is padding. So we can pick the exact spacing. You see this is padding he gave it. So we can give the exact padding he gave. You can pick the exact padding he gave his. So you can say padding this. Now automatically it has that spacing we want. So we are targeting this div. So let's call this class container. Save. So I'm targeting class container. So this class container. Okay, sorry, that width thingy, we didn't give it to this. So this is the width, and we would make it 100%. So the img should have 100%. Okay, now next thing, we need to get the font size and all of that. So we can just come here and just copy this, and okay, so we can call this give this a class if you want to. Call this title. So if I have a title, I just come here and say dot title, and I'll just paste this inside, and then when I refresh, this looks similar. It looks similar. The next thing is this one. So you can just copy this again, and we can give this class of content. So we'll just come here and say this, and we refresh. Yeah, that's what happens here. Okay, I think because that is H5 is bold. It's bold. Yeah, it was too bold. So let's make it like font weight of 500. Okay, it's coming together. And the next thing we want to do is this image. So we'll just come here, open a new tab. That's the image. So here we can have so here this you can have, hold on. Okay, so here we can use display flex here. I use display flex here for this. For this whole section here that has 1, 2, 3 contents. So first off, let's add our image. So come here in this container, we'll add our image. Okay, so in this case we are going to have more than one image, so we'll just have to give that other image a class there, because this is going to pose an issue. So let's give this the class of main image. So we'll just replace this with here we have img. So save. Now in this img we can call this profile img. We can call this an avatar because that looks like an avatar. So we can call this an avatar. So inside here we can just come and pick the styling the person gave for this. So border radius 50 and height. I'm not going to pick the flex, just the height and the border radius is what I am going to pick. That height is 40 px. Okay, so yeah, we have this. One next. We need this name, Mitchell Appleton. So would have the text again down here. We can call this a P. Should we call this a P? Yeah, let's make that to be a P. So P. Then we have another one there called a date. So we can call this. Can give this a class of date. So can just come here, target, date, and we can just pick this. Let's remove this margin top. Okay, this is looking okay. The next one is that name. So let's give this class of username. So here we have username. So it's to come here and just copy font weight. That is why I need font weight. I don't need the display or whatever, because it's not necessary. I don't need that. I don't need to display flex on me because I don't need it. So there are different ways to kill a rat. So you choose which one works for you. Okay, font size. Any font size. So I'm looking at this font size and I'm seeing font size by default. The font size, if you don't specify it, is 13 pixels. Let's add that to the body. That way, if you don't specify, it knows what is calling back. Thank you. So this is this. Well, we need it to come to the left. Like we need it to come to the left. So okay, another thing we need to do is this icon here. This icon. So we can call this. We can give this. Let's copy this first. Copy. Let's make this to be in a div. Then we can give this a class of icon. Then we paste in the SVG. Okay, save. We run this. Okay, it gives it to you. Then we need the background of the parent. So this is where we pick the background from. You see they give position absolute, which I won't give mine because it's not necessary. You don't need it. I mean, I unchecked absolute and it didn't do anything. So the thing is this: the fact that somebody made a site a particular way doesn't mean you have to follow it. There are some people that make use of unnecessary rules. In this case, this rule was totally unnecessary. Yeah, this week necessary, but this position absolute and this was totally unnecessary. So if I'm going to be grading people, say when we're done with the whole training, I'm going to be checking use of necessary and unnecessary styles. So you make sure you make use of CSS styles when it's absolutely necessary. Don't just make your stuff plenty and at the end of the day it wasn't necessary. That's bad programming anyways. So we just pick width, height, this, and cursor pointer. So what the cursor pointer does is when you hover on this, it becomes pointer. If I change this, if you hover on this, the icon changes. If I change this to not allowed, what happens is the icon changes. So this is like cool things you can do with CSS. So I'll just pick this, and that means the icon, which is a parent, would have that styling. So dot icon, paste there, and run it. Okay, so you see it is there for this one. Okay, with, oh bloody hell. So we'll fix this when we move this. Okay, so we've moved this one. We just need to move this one and make it okay. So this P, this image, this and this have to be in one whole div. They have to be in one div. So from here I'll just have a div here. Sorry, automatically VS Code closes it for me, so just have this here. You know, I can choose, now that I think about it, let me make this to be a span. That way it doesn't take up too much space. Let me make this to be a span. Yeah, making it to be a span is better. Okay, so we have this. Now that we have this, you still need to separate this image, this username, and this date. Looking at this side is one section, this is another section. So we can pick 1, 2, 3 and add it to be in one section. So we can make this to be a span that has children, or a div if you may, anyone that works for you. Okay, so here I have this is a span. If I made this to be a div, it's going to cover everything because it's a span, and span is not that stubborn. So the children that are not, they are not inside, that are not inline elements, so they are not conforming, so we make that to be a div. So when I refresh this, I come here. Okay, this looks okay. So this parent one, let's give you display flex. Cool. So now we gave it display flex. You see it goes to the right like we want it to be. Now we don't need to start using position absolute to push it to the right. We can use a property that display flex comes with. Justify content. If we do space between, you see it takes it to the right for you automatically. Space evenly, space around. I want space between, so I'll make sure that this particular one, I can just give it inline style if I want to, anyways. So let's call this class, let's call this section footer section. So this footer section, save, come here and run. Okay, so I'll just make this to be display flex, justify content, space between. Okay, another thing again, this should come to the right. The name should come to the right. This page looks small, but it takes lots of work. Okay, so I'm looking at the best way not to really stress out myself. That means I'll have to wrap this again in a parent div. That way I'll be able to flex it. Whew. Sounds so stressful already. Okay, so this one has to be in a div. So put this in a div. I'll just come here, cut, and come here and paste. Come here. Hold on. Cut, div, come here and paste. Thank you. So running this, you can see they are in two separate divs. So I can choose to do display flex, and it's aligned the way it should be. So display flex, now I'm just going to make this inline because display flex, please. Okay, then there is spacing in the image. It means there's spacing between this and this, so you can give it a margin if you'd like. Depends on what you want. You can give it a margin. The person added the margin left to this text, so margin left of 15px. So we can add our margin left also. I'm going to make mine this image margin right 15px. Again, I'm going to do this inline style, please. This live I can't do myself for. But because I'm making it because I can't kill myself doesn't mean you should not kill, like you should want to kill yourself for this one. So this one I'm going to be checking for. Make sure you don't use inline styling, please. It's bad practice. You should not use inline styling. Okay, I think because the width is not the same, it's giving me a different feel. Let's make this to be 760px, please. It's giving me a different feel. Let's change this to max width. It's not looking exact, and I want that to look exact. So change this to max width, and we call this 706px, and I save this and I run this. Now it looks similar. The only thing that we are not getting well is the image, and that's this icon here. So this icon here, okay, this is the SVG, this is the icon itself, and this is because we gave it a height and a width. So by default the height is peaking, is the height of this, section. That is the height it's automatically picking. That is the height it's automatically picking. So we can do something here. Yeah, we can do something here. I'll change this to a div. Okay, then I'll have a span inside, because this is picking the height. So I'll have a child inside. I know it's not going to pick the height. So I'll change this from being a span to a div. Okay, it still gives me the same thing because of the whole thing. So I just need to take out this width and height because I will not be needing it for now. So where I have all this thing here, I'll just pick it. Okay, fine. So this icon, class icon, I'll give this class icon to something else. So inside here I'm going to have a span. Now is this span that I'll give class icon. That way I am sure that it's not going to pick. Refresh. Cool. So we see that this one picks as it should. So we make this 40px. This would be 40px. Let's see. Oh wait, width and height doesn't work for this at all. So how do we fix this? Okay, we can use padding top to 1 em, 0.5 em, padding left 0.5 em, padding right 0.5 em, padding bottom. This is stupid because I can just use the shorthand property to do this thing. So yeah, if I just give it a padding here 0.5 em, it does the trick. So I'll come to where I have the icon. So in place of this, I'll just say padding from 0.5 em, and when I run this, it looks okay. Now it's not aligned center, like this is like I need to push this to be, it's looking too at the top for me, so I can just come here. We can use display flex for this anyways. We can use display flex, or we can say margin top 2%. I just give it the margin top and it doesn't reflect. Let's see. Let's do display flex, please. Good. Took me back to where I started from. Display flex. Justify content. I'm sorry. Align center. So it's aligned to the center now, which is okay. So I'll just pick this. So the parent that has icon would have this style. Refresh. Whew. So this was good. Now the next thing is the image itself. No, not this. Next thing is the image itself. So the person gave it position of relative, gave it a fixed height, give it flex, give it overflow, hidden. I think that's basically what the person did. Okay, so let's give ours a height. The height, the fixed height should be 280 pixels, yeah? So come to this image here. This image should have the height of, let's see, 100 each. What the hell? 280 px, please. For some reason there is spacing at the bottom, and I'm trying to check where that spacing is coming from. The height is 284, not 280. 284. Oh, it adds up. This has got to be a very weird thing. This is the card section, and this card section we give it display flex, then justify content. No, that doesn't do a thing. I'm trying to check why we have that spacing at the bottom. I don't know if you've noticed this, but there is spacing at the bottom, and if I add, it poses a problem. That spacing is still there. Wow. This card has a height of auto. Let's remove this height. If I say height of 280 px, okay, I fixed it. You make sure the height is the same thing as the height of the image, and the height of the image is 280 px. So this image, main image, where is main image? Height 280 px. The height of the card section 280 px. That way they are the same. Okay, now this image has, now you see the difference between ours and theirs is ours doesn't scroll, which is nice. Ours doesn't scroll. So the image also has a border radius attached to it, because you see it conforms, so we can give it our border radius ourselves. We know the border radius is 10 px, so we just pick, so it's giving border top left, bottom left, so we can give it ourselves here. We can choose to say to the image border top left radius 10 px equals border bottom left radius 10 px. Okay, and we just add this to the main image styling. So main image has this, then you'd refresh. Now the only issue now is with this. Okay, now let's get this. This is a content row, this is this content column, has this. So what the person did was do this. Let's copy this, added it to the parent, and let's see what happens to ours. Now wait, it still doesn't clip it. I don't know if you noticed, but this part, that section still needs to be taken out, so we need to look for a way to fix that ourselves. It doesn't clip it. Overflow hidden to the parent is flex. Overflow initial. Overflow hidden to the parent is flex, because that row has to be flex. So we already know here that this is flex already. Okay, let's use another method for this. Now let's search for object fit CSS. This object fit has there are some pretty cool things you can do with object fit. There is this property, object position. Object position. So the object position is just to align any selected image. So I think I'll send the link to this article. So the object fit determines how the elements respond to the height. You know, I was trying to explain that I couldn't explain. And width of its container. While the position explains where it sits in the container. So let's see if we can use this stuff to tweak what we want. Object position. So let's come here and see. Okay, according to the article, is the image itself. This is the image itself. Object fits. What should happen here? And cover fixed it. What the fuck? Okay, so object fit, giving it cover, fixed everything for us. Like, it fixed it. Honestly, it did. So if I said object position, oh, this is so hilarious. Object position. We said we can have. I think if we make this to be none, for example, and we say objects position bottom, you see center, like there are different ways you can tweak this for it to show. So it depends on where you want it to show. Right bottom, that's the way you want it to show. But right now what I want is cover, please. Thank you very much. I don't want right, please. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Subject fit cover did the trick. I'm thinking the width of this section is not the same. Yeah, the width is not the same. So let me check for the width of this section. So according to this, the width is 280 px, while the width of this is 442. That's like 760 minus 280. So make this to be 288. That is where the person gave this flex. Okay, so this is this just let me see if I can explain this. So this just tells you the width, but I will do mine differently anyways. I will just, if I had said width of 288 px, hold on, display flex, this is the image itself. Okay, let's do this. To look this way. Hold on, just hold on. Section 600%, 100. This is the max width. This section does not have. What's the current width? Wait. Still the same thing. Hold on. Main image should have object fit of cover. Let's see, refresh. So it doesn't look exact. There's difference in the width. Oh, this is a thing. Width was given us also. This is the card section. So inside his card, he had another one inside it again. That was what the person did. So this was the one, they give the max width to. So you had another one here. So this so let's do this. AX. Let's add this here. Hold on, please. I'm trying to fix this section. This display flex. Or that would mean here. Copy and paste it here. Hold on. So what the person did was have a div. This is the main one that has the width. Then this div is just responsible for this whole thing here. This has to be exact anyways, so let's make you exact. This card. So I'm just going to come here and edit as HTML. Let me edit it from here and see what happens. I'll close the div here, / div. Okay. So I'm just going to come here, copy everything I have here. Move this background, move this. Okay, there's max width, move the height. Move this, move this, move this, move this. And paste it here. Whew. Move this height, sorry. Move the max width. So here, the width becomes auto. And then the person gave it a margin. Let's see. Margin width of auto. Width auto margin of this. So this card section here has a max width. So this one has a max width and margin auto. Cool. So here, let's see if this fixes the issue we have. Now this image has a height of 100 px. Finally, but it's still affecting because the image is still tilting. It's still showing that spot we don't want it to show, and we don't want that to be. will leave it like this for now. This looks okay. It's not exact, but it would do. Let's leave it like this. Yeah, let's leave it like this. What I'm trying to get is this whole spacing here. I want this. What I was trying to do was to make sure that the image is exact, but the image is not exact here, and it has got to be like the weirdest thing. To give up on this just yet. Left. So this is just what I was supposed to do. Give it left top. I need to shift it for me. Oh, finally I got it right. So with my styling, I just need to have given it object fit, the image, sorry, an object position of left or left top anymore. Sorry, space on top. So this is just what I'm going to do. Yep, my code works. I didn't have to use a presence flex. So the main image, but that took a while. My apologies. Now we have something that looks similar. Yeah, I'm proud. Looks similar. This width is not the same thing anyways. This width is not the same. This width, the width, but the image now is the same thing. Okay, let's see if we can make this image the same. This has taken some time, by the way. This whole thingy has taken some time. Now we see how other pages to recreate. So if I try this and see it doesn't really work the way I want to, I'll just skip it. Then in another video, if I fixed it out, just point out how I did fix it. I think that's just what I'm going to do. Normally if you give, this has got to be the weirdest thing. Normally if you give width to this is what the person used, 115px, this, okay, now it looks the same. 115px is okay. Sorry, 115% is okay. So let's just do this width of 115%. This is bad programming anyways, because your width should not be more than 100%, but now till I get a more professional fix. Anyways, all these things will be pushed to GitHub so you'd see it. Oh, let's see, I made a mistake there. What am I doing? Okay, so yeah, I have that running. So we made something cool. So I would come to terminal, new terminal, make sure it is git bash. To select git bash, you'd click on select default profile. When you open your terminal, when you come here, click on new terminal. If yours is not git bash, even though you've downloaded git bash, click on select delete this. Terminal, new terminal. There is an option to select default profile. So select default profile. If I change this to PowerShell and I exit and I open up VS Code again, what is going to show me? FEB Marathon. The terminal has changed, so I'll just come down here, select default profile, and I want Git bash. So access, come back again, FEB Marathon. Yep. So I'm going to go over to my browser now and open up my GitHub account, and I'll create a repository, new repo, and I'll call it FEB Marathon. I'll make it public so anybody can see it. So I'll click on create repository. Now there are things you can do. So I can choose to create a new repository on the command line. Command line just stands for what you have here, but I'm not creating a new one because I already have content inside. Or I can push an existing repository from the command line, which I already have. So this is what I'm going to choose. If you have something empty, you've not put anything inside, you can choose this first method. You just copy everything and put it in your terminal. It's going to run. So what I just want is to push this. So I'll just come here and just copy everything. First though, I need to make sure I initialize it. So I'll put git init. Make sure please, if this is the first time you're working on this repo with git, you make sure you put git init. I'm going to sound this again, please do not forget. Make sure you do git init in the folder via your terminal. Make sure you do it once anyways, because once you've initialized it, Git is smart enough to always do it for you, like it knows the repo. You need to initialize it, please. So you initialize it so it knows. Then I'll just paste everything and it's going to push. It's not pushing. It says failed to push some refs. Okay, so let's come here and let Google help us out. So paste. Let's see. Git init, git add. Okay. So what I should have done was to do git add, to add everything, git commit, which is just like you're explaining what you just added, worked on the first page, git push. Oh sorry, the git push is going to be git push u origin main. This is the first time, then it's going to push. And if I refresh here, you see the code is here already, which is nice. Then I'll come to settings because I want this to be live. I'll come to settings, come down to GitHub pages. Oh, it has a dedicated tab. Lovely. Check it out here. So click on this. Okay, pages. So I'll select this, the main. That's the name of the branch I'm working with, and the branch you see here, main. So select main. Automatically it checks this and it's safe. So it is going to GitHub. Normally takes time, so you just have to wait. It can take up to an hour anyways. So now we've worked on one man down. How many more to go? Now this is the second one, and this is what I gave as an assignment, and I'm going to be touching this. I believe we know how to do this, because this is an image that was used here, by the way. SVG. I believe by now we should know how to do this already. I'm just going to do this just for explanation's sake, because this image coming out is something that Absolute would have done. It's something Absolute would have done. Like I said, it's something Absolute would have done. Most definitely Absolute. Absolute that can give you something this crazy. Then this container. Background image. Anyways, we'll see how the person made theirs and how we can make ours. So let's see. I have this to go and this to go and this to go, this to go. I think this is what we're going to do next. I like this. And this to go. So let's do it this way. I like this. Which one should I work on next? I'll work on this next, then this one next, then this one next, maybe, or this one next. The good thing about this one is it has a dark mode. What just happened? It has, and the person made use of Netlify. It also shows how to deploy it in Netlify. So GitHub takes time to load. Oh wow, it did so fast. Whoop. So we have this up and running. This looks so fine. This looks lovely. So if you want to get the code, you just need to come here to my GitHub repo. Just come to my GitHub repo and and you can just clone the repo. When you clone the repo, you can get it on your laptop. You download it as a zip, or you clone it from using the command git clone. Don't worry, all of these things you'll understand it. It just takes time. But you'll understand it. So you can choose to fork it. You can choose to, I think there should be one to watch. Should watch. So if you watch any changes I make to it, you can see it. You can choose to follow if you want to. So done one. So we'll look at this one next. So I'm going to go and take a break and come back, and then starting with this next. Okay.